What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Catching Up, where we catch up with some of your favorite past professional athletes. And joining us today is somebody who's recently become the head coach at Texas Southern University.
That is correct. That is Cris Dishman, the man, the legend, Cris Dishman. Glad to have you on the show, Cris.
Skills, thanks a lot. I'm expecting that check from you soon.
No problem. I got it. It's in the mail.
It's always a pleasure to see you, man. You know that is.
Yeah.
We had some great times with each other. Our times playing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from the first day that you went to the Pro Bowl, then all of a sudden you came back selling T-shirts.
We heard about that, how he was an entrepreneur ahead of the time. Like, imagine if they had the online presence back then.
Hey, I'll definitely be a millionaire by now.
Oh, yeah, he would have been an influencer with that.
That is true. That is true.
So, Chris, we usually like to start off by bringing our listeners up to speed on your background. You played college at Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And then obviously spent a lot of time with the Oilers majority of your career, but also, and you went to the Pro Bowl twice while you were with the Oilers, and then spent some time with the Redskins, Chiefs, and Vikings. So tell us what you've been up to since retiring from football.
Well, I joined the coaching world. You know, in 2005, I went over to NFL Europe and coached over there. It was my first coaching gig over there, coaching defensive backs, which that's where I got my passion for coaching. That's where I fell in love with coaching. I went over there and like, hey, this coaching job's not too bad. So 19 years later, I went from NFL Europe to now sitting back in Houston at Texas Southern, you know, a program whose football team has been down for a while. So now it's my job to pick it back up. And I think with the helps of you guys, everyone else in the community, then we can pick it back up because we're in the heart of Houston. You know, you got to take care of your heart.
Definitely. We had a kid, I think he just graduated, Jack Nance out of Clear Lake, was with the program, and he's a solid kid. And I know he wanted to get into the coaching world. I told him to reach out to you, Chris, so whenever you get a chance, talk to Jack Nance. He was a center there at, started center there for 3 years in a row, I believe, there at TSU.
Cool.
So, but it's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's obviously so exciting hearing you were announced as a head coach, and like you said, it's just great for the city to have a great presence with Texas Southern and seeing that program do well.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's great to be back here in the city, but I was trying to go through everyone's roster one day, and then I got tired and fell asleep. I was trying to see how many, because we have a lot of players on that Houston Oilers roster that's actually coaching.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You know, we have a lot of players that's how you tell your team was such a good team, is how many players, after they get through playing, is coaching. You know, we have Steve Smith, we have Frank Bush, we have Marcus Robertson, we have Blaine Bishops, who's over in the radio over there. And, you know, I can go on and on of players. Al Smith once coached for a while. So we have a lot of players that's skills. You even coached there for a while.
Yeah, I'm still coaching. I'm still coaching.
Yeah, you still coaching? Okay. Well, it's a lot of players that's still coaching and giving back. And that's just go to show you how thoughtful we were as a team. You know, we're now thinking of others as we try to give back to the younger generation.
And that is true. I mean, and he'd rattle off a bunch of those names, and we've talked to some of the guys that have already been on the show, and they're in the coaching realm. And it is something that I think, as far as the camaraderie and what we do as a group, as a collective group, and what we did accomplish, and we are giving back. And I'm just piggybacking off of your words. So, I just a pleasure to see you back and see your smile. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing like Cris Dishman that'll bring a smile to someone's face. Let me tell you.
And I didn't mean to leave off Eddie. You know,
Eddie and
Alabama State. And of course, our rival up north. We won't mention that name. Bubba McDowell. So we're not going to really talk about that team up there.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then also Eddie George.
Yeah, Eddie George.
Yeah.
Eddie George. Yeah, that's right. Eddie and Joe B. Eddie and Joe B together.
Joe Bowden, Tennessee State. Yeah, so I'm sure I'm leaving off a lot more people. But if you could, like I said, I got tired. I was trying to do that research, and I got tired and fell asleep. So my research is still ongoing. I just wanted to see how many players is actually coaching. You know, that's a testament of your team.
And I'll look it up myself too, and try to get back with you. Maybe we can collaborate and and get our numbers straight. So that sounds good.
So let's dive in. We've talked about a lot of your teammates are now coaches. Who is the most fun to be around on those teams?
Well, we have some characters now.
Oh, yeah.
It's, we we play football, but we had a who's who of characters out there. And everybody has character in their own way. When people mention character, they think bad people, and I'm not saying that. We had some characters who was very great people, very respectful people who understood the game, who loved the game of football, but just loved having fun, kicking other people's butts. We had a team that was very talented. We knew we was talented. We wasn't arrogant. We was very confident in ourselves. We have a guy like John Henry Mills come in and he make a Pro Bowl doing special teams. John probably could have went somewhere else and started at linebacker at any place. So to have him there as a backup, had Joe Bowden there, he Rob there, Mike B. So we can go on and on. But the linebackers before them, Al Smith, Johnny Meads, Robert Lyles.
Oh, yes.
Now, so it's like I said, we have a who's who of guys who is there. And the sad part about it, that they don't get recognized of who they are because we're a team with no team, meaning that we're not Oilers and we're not Texans. We're Houston Oilers, but we're not the Tennessee Titans, and we're not the Houston Texans. So now the Houston Oilers is a team with no team. So that's probably why a lot of our players are not getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now we do have some players in there, but we don't have as many players that we should have into the Hall of Fame.
With that being said, the Hall of Fame, what's your, from a rookie all the way to when you finish, what's your most favorable memory of playing, in the NFL?
Well, one of the times I think was in Cleveland. I think he was on that team then. It was in Cleveland, and it was cold.
Of course.
Now, rah everybody to wear no shirts. And then once I hit that cold weather, I snuck back in and got a long sleeve shirt on.
I do believe that. I definitely believe that.
And then everybody was like, "Oh man, how you going to get a long sleeve shirt on?" So I played like I was sick and I needed a long sleeve shirt, but I really didn't.
So to add with that, what's the best city you've ever played in, as far as being in the NFL?
The best city have to be when I was with the Houston Oilers and we played in Kansas City.
Okay.
And I also played at Kansas City. That city there is like diehard football fans. Friday after walkthrough, they there. Saturday, they there. Sunday, they there. It's like they're diehard football fans. Houston, the early years of Houston,
Love you, Blue.
was like Kansas City. The fans showed up. The fans stopped showing up when we decided to move. That's the only reason why they showed up. But that year is very interesting because we had a better road record than we did home record that year because of the fans. Even when we went to Pittsburgh, the fans was telling us we was number one. They was just using the wrong finger.
I believe that.
So, I don't think it ever been done where a team have a better road record than home record. We get back home, we're used to 65,000 screaming Houston Oilers fans. Now we're down to 20,000. Well, you got a 65,000 seat stadium. That's pretty empty. So the early years in Houston, when we was rolling, we was going to the playoffs and, stuff like that. I think that was some great memories of getting draft picks like a John Henry, getting draft picks like a Steve McNair, Eddie George, Joe Bowden, getting the younger guys coming in right under us, and they fit right in. It wasn't no hazing, wasn't no this. No, they fit right in and was able to support the guys who was going out.
So tell me, with those guys, who was the best dressed?
Oh, let me see. I can't say Skills. I know he's gonna say himself. I ain't putting him in the best dress.
I got a name in mind, but I'll wait till you say it.
That's a good question. I gotta say, I guess Warren. Warren dressed nice.
Yeah.
one dog dressed nice.
Mm-hmm.
I got to put myself up there at the best dressed. You know?
So,
You know,
so we knew we had some other players out there who were very eclectic. And I want to go ahead and say, E.G. was definitely wore some
oh
things.
yes, of course. That's the one. That's the winner. That's the winner right there. E.G. always had the best dress. You know? He always had the best dress. Only thing E.G. couldn't find, he really couldn't find a hat for his head.
That is true.
Yeah, he was the best.
So yeah, I think Ernest Givens came up in a previous
Yes, he
one
did.
as one of the best dressed.
Exactly,
Yeah,
he did.
You know, E.G. was probably the best dressed. The funniest person on our team was E.G. because he would tell you like it is without even telling you like it is.
Exactly. So with that being said, being in the league for so long, who's the other player that brought you underneath your wing and just took care of you when you first came into the NFL? Like inspirational.
Mike Rozier and Robert Lyles.
Okay.
Robert Lyles, who's I think he's looking for a heart right now.
Mm-hmm.
He really, him and I really hit it off with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's a linebacker, and then Mike Rozier, who's a running back, him and I hit it off with each other because I had an attitude I wasn't going back to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going back to Louisville. I was making a team. Somehow, some way, I was making this Houston on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was drafted in the 5th round, 125th pick.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted a guy in the 2nd round, Quentin Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They already had 3 or 4 corners on the team. Back then, you only kept 4 corners, 3 safeties,
Mm-hmm.
and a guy who could possibly play safety in the corner. So I did the smart thing like John Henry. I saw the numbers and realized that I better play special teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I made the team my first year because I played nothing but special teams. I was a beast in special teams. No one could block me. I was fast. No one could block me, and I was going down making all the special teams tackles. That's how I made the team. And then once I got on the team, I said I'm gonna work my way into a starting position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my first couple of years I was playing nickel inside, so I loved doing that. And then I worked myself way into, kept working each off season, and then I finally worked my way into a starting position.
So tell me what it was like for you coming out of Purdue. You mentioned you were drafted in the 5th round, so tell me what was going through your head the minute you walked into the Oilers locker room for the first time.
It was surreal because as a player, you always want to get to the level where you at, where I'm walking into this locker room. I wanted to play in a pro. That's always been a dream of mine. So now I was like, wow, I'm here. Then I told myself, okay, the shock of being here is over. You have to get to work. You got to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I put my mindset of staying here, not just want to get here. Anybody, if you're talented, you jump higher, run faster than everyone else, throw the ball longer than everybody else, you're going to get to the NFL. But how long can you stay in the NFL? That's your testament of each year they're going to draft someone. They're going to draft someone who's better than you. Who's probably making a little bit less money than you. And you got to be able to fight that person off. So each year, out of 13 years, that was my mindset. I got to fight that person off, be able to make this team and stay on the team. Each year, I thought I was fighting for my job. Even though people say, you just came back from the pro, but you still got to fight for your job. Yes, that's when you really have to fight for your job because complacency set in. And I don't think I never got comfortable of being where I'm at.
I want to hear some stories. I'm sure you two have a ton of stories.
I can only think of one story about me and Cris in particular. We were getting on a plane. Thinks maybe it was Jacksonville, and I had this shirt on. It was fairly tight, it had a zipper, midway down my chest, and I'm pretty sure Cris was like, "Hey man, I got one question. Does it snap in the middle?"
Well, anytime you wear a shirt and you can see, you can count your chest hairs, it's pretty tight. I think that's a pretty tight shirt. You got 1, 2, 3. You got about 10 chest hairs. I think that's a pretty tight shirt.
And I think I burned that shirt after that plane ride home.
I'm glad you did. You probably have it underneath that jacket. But no, we were such a fun-loving group.
Yes, we were.
No one took anything personal,
Yes.
and that's what I think I love about all these guys. And that's why anytime one of my guys call, anybody call, they want me to do something for them. I'm right there. I'm right there for them because we took it nothing personal. We knew it was business. We understand we love each other, and we knew we had a job to do.
You know, it's interesting hearing you talk. You know, we've talked with a bunch of different guys, and they've been just fabulous conversations. What's interesting with you is I can feel this sort of love that's in your voice from that time period of your life and of that team.
And all the guys that have been on the show prior, when we brought your name up, they've said nothing but like just good things and funny things, obviously, and your character and as a professional, that was one of the main things. As a professional, they followed you because, like you said, everybody was coming for your job the next day or the next year. You showed them how to stay in the league. Because you were always a professional, you always were on your game. There was nothing that you did not prepare for or wasn't ready for in a football game. So and in your career. So that speaks volume and highly of you. And I have to say, you know what, it was a pleasure being around you 100% because you always made me laugh and you always picked on me too. So, but it's all good. It was all love. It was all love. It was all love.
Yeah. Like I said, it's those years flew by so fast, and as I'm 58, I go back and reflect on those years. Just like, oh, those was the times. But I didn't savor those times. Just pushing to the next thing, pushing to the next, pushing to the next. And then at 58, sometimes I could sit back and savor the times I did have with this team, of how special this team is really are.
Yeah. I can only imagine being on a team like that. You know, that's what everyone wants to do.
And during that time, he knows for a fact, and that was 93 was my first year, and 93 was one of the more, it was the most dramatic team that I thought it was just normal coming into the league as just being an NFL player, but come to find out, obviously history tells itself, that turmoil, the stuff that we went through 93 was a lot. And I just thought it was normal, but it wasn't. But we, like I said, 43, we came through. But it was a lot with the Buddy Ryan and Kevin Gilbride and David Williams and Jeff Alm. You name it. There's some stuff that went on that year that we were put to the test. But we did try to we did get to the playoffs. We didn't favor against Joe Montana, but we did get there. We had a chance. It was just a matter of pushing through with everything else. But he could tell you more stories and things that that happened probably in the defensive side of the room or whatnot with Buddy Ryan and whatnot because he was on that side of the ball. I was on offense at that time, but that year was something else.
Well, yeah, that's like I said. I keep saying this, but it's just so the character of the gentleman we have in the locker room that okay, we got pushed back. We had to take a step back. We're going to take 2 or 3 steps forward. We got to take a step back. We're going to take another 2 or 3 steps forward. We just kept pushing forward, no matter what happened. With Jeff on, with Buddy and Kevin getting their scuffle, with David Williams and Baby Gates. We just kept pushing forward because I think everyone took the thing, control what you can control and don't worry about nothing else. And put it in God's hand and let God use our bodies as vessels. And I think that's why we got through in 93. And that's why we were able to get to the playoffs because we was a good team. We were so much better than everyone else. Pound for pound, we was a better team in that division. And that whole division knew we was a better team. From Pittsburgh to Cleveland to Cincinnati, they knew that coming into the house of pain, you're gonna leave with some pain, and you're gonna leave with a loss, and that's how we knew that. That's the confidence that we had in each other. Because I knew John was gonna do his job. He knew I was gonna do my job. If you can get a team that can build like that, who can build character, and it's a self-ran team that we self-motivate each other, And we was happy when Skills made a tackle because I knew the next day T-shirts was coming. He doesn't get those shirts free, but I knew the next day on that Monday he was gonna have his T-shirts for sale. You know, I knew that. So that was one of the things. Like I told him, I grabbed 2 T-shirts. I'm not buying your T-shirts. But I did buy some. Yeah, I did buy some.
Hey, that reminds me. Did you ever reap the reward of him staying on the plane late?
Oh, with all the goodies getting off the plane.
Well, this is an all adult show. Yeah, but those times on the plane, those times in the locker room, those are very special moments.
Mm-hmm.
That's between us.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people like to hear the stories, but I cherish those stories so much. I'm be selfish. I would like to keep those stories with us,
which is fine. Totally fine.
Yeah, those are the ones I can call and laugh about. Those are the ones when I get off this phone call, I can call them. I should have told this story. Like, oh man, yeah. So those type of moments, I like to hold it over their head. I don't want to tell it. If I tell it, it's out there. Everybody know. I want to hold it over his head just a little bit longer. So therefore, when I call and ask him for something, he have to do it because he know I have this story.
Yes, that is true. So we're gonna move forward. We got a word association with players, and we're gonna say one player's name, and you give us one word about that individual player. First one will be obviously Warren Moon.
Great leader. Mm-hmm. I know it's 2 words.
That's all right. That's all right.
Steve McNair.
Ooh, hell of a person. Hell of an athlete.
Mm-hmm. Eddie George.
Big time.
Big time. That's a good one.
Okay. Bruce Matthews.
Special.
Okay. And this one's, hold dear to your heart. Your crosstown rivalry, but Bubba McDowell.
Friend. Brother.
Oh, I like that. That.
Bubba and I, played many years in that backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first time Bubba McDowell ever cussed in his life, he cursed at me. So, and I hold that over his head all the time too. I said, Bubba, you remember when you cursed at me? He said, I didn't really curse it. I said, yeah, you did, Bubba. You was cursing me. I think that's the first time ever Bubba got mad at me was on the field. Well, we used to have a little signal to each other. If I needed him to cover me, if I saw a route coming and I was going to try to sit on it and take that interception, I give Bubba a little signal, and he knew to cover me. Well, this particular game, I gave him a signal too much, and Bubba cursed at me. And and when he get on the show, you ask about what he said to me. He cursed at me. He tried to say he didn't. He cursed at me. He was mad at me.
We'll definitely have to remember that one.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was very adamant about me actually applying for this job.
Mm-hmm.
He really wanted me to get this job.
Okay.
And, we saw each other 2 days ago when it came Prairie View versus Texas Southern basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I sit up there like nothing in the middle of the Texas Southern and Prairie View fans. And him and I sit up there and talk like this, we care about the rivalry, but him and I are going to remain friends before this rivalry and after this rivalry.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's good to hear. I mean, and, Bubba's a solid guy, as well as you are. And I can't wait to, be at the game. Definitely want to have some sideline passes because I don't know what side I'll be on, but I want to be down on the sideline.
See, there you go. There you go.
Uh-huh.
He gonna make a T-shirt. Second Southern Prairie have skills on the back. Watch how you put that T-shirt together. Watch. He ain't gonna sell a T-shirt for $25. How many skills? No one buy a $25 T-shirt.
Yeah, they will, man. Yes, they will.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, is it going to be like a reversible one where it's like Texas Southern on the front and then turn it inside out?
Nah, it's just be cut right down the middle. TSU, Prairie View,
A&M. If anybody's gonna make it, skills will make it. If anybody's gonna make it, he will make it.
I'll be.
What about his price point? His price point's too high.
I'll be on the sideline selling them too.
And then signing them for an extra $5, maybe.
Without a doubt, I'll do a signing affair if you want me to. I will. That's funny. That is too funny.
Hey, Cris, thanks so much for joining us, taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime for you guys, anytime for Skills Mills. I see his jerseys in the back, 35, 56, and 87. That's when he was a tight end, 87. But we never really consider Skills a tight end. You know,
That is true.
We adopt him on the defensive end.
That is true.
So once he goes, we adopt him on the defense, and that's why he was able to hang out with all the defense players. Because we had the cooler players on that end, so we adopted him as a cool player.
That is true. That is true.
Well, Cris, best of luck to you in your new role, and we will definitely be following you and rooting for you as you continue bringing Texas Southern back to the winning ways.
Yes, well, you guys got to come out and do a remote out here sometimes, and we're having our spring practice on the 18th.
Okay.
Our spring game is April the 13th.
Okay.
Cool.
So we can set you guys up.
We'd love to come out there.
Have a show, have a remote show.
Yes, we would.
Yeah,
We'd love
awesome.
to do that. Yeah, sounds good. I could do that. Definitely.
Yeah, I just charged the guy in the blue.
Exactly.
How about we trade
You
a
guys did
T-shirt?
great.
Oh, we trade.
Skills, if you need me, holler at me. Okay.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks again, Cris.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
you too.
And that's going to wrap it up for this week on Catching Up. We'll see you next time.